A lot of us are outside enjoying hiking and camping and fishing and living in our RVs, but in the afternoon, in a lot of places, the sky just opens up and these hellish lightning and thunderstorms come down. So today, I'm going to give you all of the tips that you need to stay safe during this summer lightning season. It's Robin with Creativity RV, and a lot of you have been out in these lightning and thunderstorms and have written me questions about the best way to stay safe. And I'll tell you, I've been in some beautiful storms and some kind of scary storms, but weather can change really quickly, especially if you're up in the high country. So I told you guys a few weeks ago, I was in Idaho Springs and I was speaking to a ranger about fire and thunderstorm safety, and I learned some stuff that I did not know and really wanted to do a lot of good research for you guys so I could give you all the tools you need to stay safe this summer. So your chance of being struck or injured by lightning over the course of your life, according to NOAA, is 1 in 3,000. But it's also true that the majority of people that get struck by lightning are boaters, hikers, campers, and fishermen, which means us. So we probably are at higher risk of getting struck than 1 in 3,000, but I couldn't find any data on that. So just keep that in mind. I did also see that more people are killed by lightning than by hurricane and tornado combined in the US. So it's no joke. We do want to stay safe. And so my goal in this video today is to give you the tips you need so you can do just that. So I am not a meteorologist, but I did do a lot of research on this, and I'm giving you all the tips that I found, and I am going to put my source material down below in some links. So if you want more information, please do take a look at that. And if you have any other information, please do put it in the comments with your source material so we can all learn from each other. And hey, I'm not trying to scare anybody. What I want is that all of us are safe so that we can get in our rig and head on back down the road to more adventures without being hurt by Mother Nature. I was actually in Rocky Mountain National Park last month. You guys may have seen that video. And I was talking to a ranger there, and I was surprised when she told me that they lose somebody to a lightning strike every year just in Rocky Mountain National Park. And that got me thinking. So when I went through Idaho Springs, I interviewed a ranger there about lightning and fire safety. I learned some stuff that I did not know. You may have seen the fire safety video was a separate video because I really wanted to take the time to do research to give you guys the tools that you needed to be safe during these lightning strikes. So in a second here, I'm going to give you all the do's and don'ts that you need to stay safe, whether you're in an RV or you're outside as a hiker or a camper. But first, let me give you some facts that you're going to need to know about lightning strikes this summer. First of all, lightning can travel 10 miles, and that doesn't mean that lightning actually has to strike you, which I thought it did. It doesn't. If it strikes anywhere around you, what happens is the electricity gets conducted through the ground. And lightning just doesn't strike you from the sky down. The lightning that we see in those beautiful flashes is actually the lightning that's traveling from the ground up. And it happens so fast that the human eye can't even recognize it. But think about this. If you're anywhere near that on the ground, that electricity is conducting out through the ground. So if you're anywhere near it, you can actually be injured or killed by the lightning strike. And here's another interesting thing. You don't actually have to be anywhere near the strike. If you're within the distance where you can hear it, then you are definitely within the strike zone. In fact, lightning can strike you farther than the sound actually travels. So take that for what it's worth. I know a lot of us watch the lightning from afar, but if we can see it, we can actually be struck by it. And also, before I get to the do and don't list, I do want to talk to you about if you're safe inside of your RV or your car, and if the tires actually ground you. I was surprised to find out that that's a myth. The tires don't actually ground the car or the RV, but don't fear, because if you're inside of a car or an RV that has a steel or aluminum frame, then it creates something called a Faraday cage, which means that the electricity travels around the outside of the metal box, and then the electricity is conducted down into the ground, and you are safer if you're inside of one of those types of vehicles. Now, if you have a pop-up camper or you have a rig that you've made yourself out of wood, that is not going to give you a Faraday cage, so you are not protected by that structure like you would be if you're inside of steel or aluminum. And by the way, if your rig is made of fiberglass, don't worry as long as the frame is made out of steel or aluminum. That will protect you with the Faraday cage. Now, with that being said, lightning can go sideways, which means it can come in through an open window. So keep that in mind while I'm talking to you about the do's and the don'ts, and let's get right to it so you have the information that you need to stay safe. Okay, so let's start with the don'ts. You know this, don't be the tallest thing outside because that's what the lightning is going to be looking for. Don't stand near running water or still water or even hold a glass of water in your hand because it will attract electricity. Don't stand in the open. Even being under like a camping pavilion or a covered picnic area does not make you safe. You actually have to be inside of an enclosed building or car or RV. Don't hold any devices inside of your RV that are plugged in. So really you should unplug everything because a lightning strike can take out everything in your RV. I'll get to that in just a second. But you can use your handheld device, but do not use it if it's plugged into the wall because that can conduct electricity. And also, don't do anything that involves water inside of your RV during a lightning storm. So that means don't take a shower and don't do dishes and don't even run water out of the sink to like wash your hands because the electricity can travel up through your plumbing and out onto you when you have the water running. All right, let's get to the do's. I'll start with what to do if you're in an RV. Absolutely do unplug from a power source. If you're in a campground where you have a hookup and any kind of a lightning storm is coming, even if you don't think it's going to be a bad one, unplug from the power tower because lightning could strike far away and travel under the ground in the wires and come up through your power tower and take out a bunch of stuff in your RV. So definitely do unplug. You do want to shut your windows, and I know this can stink if you're inside of a muggy RV, and I guess it depends on how uncomfortable you are and what type of windows you have and how much they open. But lightning can come through an open window because it can travel sideways. It will hit a window and it can still come in even if your window is shut. But when it strikes the glass, it actually dissipates some of the electricity, and so you're actually going to be safer with the windows shut. And I did read some things that said that 2 lightning strikes would actually have to happen, which can happen. Lightning does strike twice in one place. It's a myth that it doesn't. But 1 lightning strike would have to break the glass, and then another one would have to come in from the broken glass. So absolutely do shut your windows if you can take it. Do stay in your car or RV. You're much safer inside of that than you are outside. Do use a handheld device like your cell phone as long as it's not plugged into the wall to get updates from like Storm Radar, which is the app I use, or NOAA or the National Weather Service or something like that so you can keep track of the storm. Do run your generator if needed. You can't be plugged into the power tower, but you can absolutely run your generator. That is safe. If you do get stuck outside, go to the lowest area. You don't want to stand under a tree if there's only one tree because that's the tallest thing and that's going to actually attract the lightning. But if you're in a big bunch of thick trees, you can get underneath the shortest tree if there's no other option. And when you do, you want to take something called the lightning position. The lightning position is actually when you crouch down and you only are standing on the balls of your feet, covering your ears. The reason you want to do that is that, like I said, electricity travels along the ground. And the ranger told me that the worst injuries that she's seen is when campers are actually laying flat on the ground because their entire body surface then can absorb that electricity. If you're only on the balls of your feet, then you're going to be hurt a lot less than you would if you were standing or laying on the ground. And finally, I'll say, If someone around you is injured from a lightning strike, do help them, because lightning will not stay in their body. That is also a myth. What you want to do is help them with shock. So put their head down on the ground and lift up their legs so they're higher up. Keep their clothing on them, even if it's burned, unless it's on fire. And they may need CPR if they're not breathing, so hopefully you know how to do some CPR, and do call 911. And I will also say this, if you're inside of a lightning storm and something inside of your RV gets zapped, do check your insurance policy, because if you have full coverage insurance, which just means that you have collision and comprehensive, comprehensive is the side of your insurance that covers things like hail, fire, flood. It also, on most policies, covers lightning strike. So if your rig gets struck by lightning and it knocks out like a computer system in your engine or a refrigerator or a computer, something like that, you might be covered for that. So do check your policy. So you guys, I hope that you found this helpful. It's an important topic because a lot of people are lost every year from lightning strikes. Please do share this with your friends. And on your way out of here, please do hit the little like button and comment below if you've been in a scary situation, or you have some experience with this, or you have another tip that you can share with people. I really do appreciate it. Please do also subscribe if you haven't already. Everybody have safe travels out there, and be free.